Hello, my name is Ethan Carter, and what I'm about to tell you is something I wish I never experienced. Because in a small town called Black Hollow, Colorado, there's a rule everyone follows. Never open your door after 9 p.m. No matter who calls your name, no matter how familiar the voice sounds, because once you open that door, you don't come back the same. And sometimes, you don't come back at all. It was exactly 9 p.m. Ethan's phone lit up on its own. The room was completely dark, except for the faint glow of the screen. He frowned. There was no number, no contact name, just one word flashing on the screen. Home. That's weird, he whispered. Slowly, he picked up the phone. Hello? Silence. No breathing. No background noise. Nothing. He was about to hang up when suddenly a faint voice whispered, "Ethan." His heart stopped. That voice. He knew it. "Who is this?" he asked, his voice shaking. A pause. Then, "Open the door." Ethan froze. That voice, it sounded exactly like his older brother Daniel. But Daniel had died 2 years ago. "Stop messing with me. This isn't funny," Ethan said, stepping back. A soft chuckle came through the phone. Cold, unnatural. "You didn't open the door that night either." Ethan's breath caught. "What night?" "The night I was standing outside, calling your name." His mind went blank. That never happened, did it? Suddenly, knock, knock, knock. The sound came from the front door. Ethan's entire body stiffened. The phone was still pressed against his ear, and now the same voice came from outside. "Ethan, I'm here." The room temperature dropped instantly. His breath turned visible in the cold air. He slowly turned toward the door. "I know you can hear me." Step by step, he walked closer. His hand reached the doorknob, and then a memory flashed in his mind. The old woman from the town, the day he moved here. "Listen carefully. After 9 p.m., if something calls you, don't answer it." Ethan's hand froze. Outside, the voice changed. "Too scared?" Bang! The door shook violently. The phone went dead, and from under the door, a thick black smoke began to seep inside. It crawled across the floor, twisting, forming shapes like fingers. Ethan stumbled back, terrified, because in that moment, he realized something horrifying. Whatever was outside, it knew him, and it wasn't going to leave. Morning came, but Ethan didn't sleep, not even for a second. The black stains near the door were still there. He stared at them, trying to convince himself it was just his imagination, but deep down, he knew it wasn't. Later that day, he told his father, Mark Carter, everything. Mark didn't react immediately. He just stood there, quiet. Then he asked, "Did you open the door?" Ethan shook his head. "No." Mark exhaled slowly. Relief. "Good, you're still here." Ethan frowned. "What does that mean?" Mark looked at him seriously. "In this town, there's a rule. After 9 p.m., you don't answer anything. Not voices, not knocks, nothing." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Why?" Mark hesitated, then said quietly, "Because it learns your voice, and then it uses it against you." Silence filled the room. "That thing," Ethan whispered. "It sounded like Daniel." Mark looked away. "It always sounds like someone you love." Ethan's chest tightened. Later that evening, Mark took him to the edge of town. There stood an abandoned building, burnt, collapsed, dead silent. "What is this place?" Ethan asked. Mark's voice dropped. 20 years ago, this was a school." Ethan swallowed. There was a fire, and children were trapped inside. "Didn't anyone help them?" Mark's eyes filled with guilt. No. People locked their doors and stayed inside. Ethan felt sick. That night, Mark continued, was the first time someone heard knocking after 9 p.m., and the first person who opened the door, Ethan looked at him, never came back. Cold wind passed through the ruins. Ethan turned toward the building. For a second, he thought he saw something move inside, a small figure standing in the darkness, watching him. And suddenly, he understood one terrifying truth. Whatever started that night, it never left. It was still here. That night, Ethan made sure everything was sealed. Doors locked, windows shut tight, lights off, phone powered down. But none of that stopped the fear. The clock ticked slowly, 8:59 p.m. Ethan sat on his bed, staring at the door, waiting, listening. 9 p.m. Nothing happened. No knocking, no voice, no sound. For a moment, he felt relief. Maybe it's over, he whispered. Tick. A soft sound came from somewhere inside the room. Ethan froze. He turned slowly. Nothing. Then again. Tick, tick. This time, it came from the wall behind him. His breathing got heavier. That's not possible. The wall began to crack. A thin line appeared, spreading slowly. Ethan's eyes widened. Something was pushing through. First, fingers, long, black, wet. Then a hand, forcing its way out of the wall like it was liquid. Ethan stumbled back, and then a face emerged. His face, exactly like him, same eyes, same features, but the smile was wrong, too wide, too still. "You didn't open the door," it said. Its voice echoed, not just in the room, but inside Ethan's head. "So I came in myself." Ethan shook his head in horror. "No, no, what are you?" It tilted its head slowly. "I'm you." Suddenly, its skin began to peel, and beneath it, other faces appeared. Children, adults, burned, crying, screaming silently, all trapped inside it. "We're inside now," they whispered together. Ethan screamed, "Get out!" In an instant, everything disappeared. The wall was normal again. The room was empty. Silence. Ethan stood there, shaking, sweating. Then he looked down. On the floor, a wet black trail slowly crept forward, moving toward his bed, and that's when he realized it didn't need the door anymore. It had found another way in, and now it wasn't leaving. Morning came. But Ethan was not the same. He avoided the mirror, avoided the silence, avoided his own thoughts, because something felt wrong. When he finally stood in front of the mirror, he noticed it immediately. His reflection moved a second too late. Ethan stepped back, heart racing. No. He leaned closer, watching carefully. Everything looked normal again. He let out a shaky breath. Then, in the reflection, something appeared behind him, a small figure. Ethan turned around instantly. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror. The figure was still there. A child, burned skin, black, hollow eyes, and it was smiling. "You came back," it whispered. Ethan stumbled backward. "I didn't do anything." The child tilted its head. "But you belong to this place." Crack. The mirror shattered suddenly. Glass pieces fell everywhere. Ethan dropped to the floor, and in every shard he saw the same thing. That child, watching him, smiling. "We don't forget. We wait." Ethan covered his ears. "Stop, please!" Suddenly, his bedroom door creaked open slowly. Cold air rushed in, and with it, a whisper. "Come back tonight." Ethan looked up. The hallway was empty, but something had changed. He could feel it. It wasn't just outside anymore. It was following him, watching him, and worst of all, it was learning him. That evening, Ethan didn't wait for fear to find him. He chose to face it. At 8:40 p.m., he stood beside his father, Mark Carter, outside the burned remains of the old school. The air felt wrong, heavy, like something unseen was watching, waiting. "You don't have to come with me," Mark said quietly. Ethan shook his head. "It's already inside me, isn't it?" Mark didn't answer, because they both knew the truth. They stepped inside. The moment Ethan crossed the doorway, the temperature dropped sharply. His breath turned visible. The floor was covered in ash. Every step echoed too loudly. The walls were blackened, but what made Ethan freeze were the handprints. Small, burned, desperate, dozens of them, all over the walls. "They tried to get out," Ethan whispered. Mark closed his eyes for a second. "Yes." Suddenly, slam! The entrance doors shut behind them. Ethan spun around. "It's happening again!" Mark grabbed his arm. "Stay calm. Fear feeds it." Then a voice echoed, "You came back." It came from everywhere, above, below, inside his head. Ethan's heart pounded violently. "I don't see anything." "Look closer." The handprints on the walls began to move, slowly peeling off like they were alive. They dropped onto the floor, one by one, and then they began to form shapes. Children, burned, broken, twisted. Ethan stumbled back. "Oh my God!" One of them stepped forward. Half its face melted. "You left us." Mark's voice shook. "We're here to make it right." Silence. Then all the children lowered their heads and started laughing. That sound was not human. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He realized something terrifying. This wasn't just a place. This was something alive, and it didn't forgive. Darkness swallowed the room. Only their eyes remained visible, glowing faintly in the pitch black. Ethan grabbed his father's arm. "We need to get out!" Mark turned, but the door was gone, replaced by a solid black wall. "No," Ethan whispered. A voice echoed, slow, deep, ancient. "No one leaves." Something moved in the darkness, something bigger. It emerged slowly, a tall, distorted figure, its limbs twisted unnaturally, its face burned beyond recognition, but its eyes were locked onto Ethan. "You came back." Ethan's body froze. "I didn't do anything." The figure stepped closer. "But you belong to the one who did." Ethan looked at his father, confused, terrified. "Dad, what does it mean?" Mark didn't speak. He couldn't, because the truth was already there. "I was there," Mark finally whispered. Ethan's world shattered. "What?" "That night, I heard them knocking." His voice broke. "I heard them screaming." Tears rolled down his face. "But I didn't open the door." Silence. Ethan stepped back slowly. "You let them die?" Mark closed his eyes. "I was afraid." Suddenly, all the children screamed together. "Now you will feel it." Dark hands burst out of the shadows. They grabbed Ethan, his arms, his legs, his neck. He screamed, "Dad!" Mark rushed forward. "Let him go!" The tall figure smiled. "Now it's his turn." Ethan was dragged backwards into the darkness, his vision blurred. The last thing he saw was his father, standing there, broken, guilty, and completely helpless. Now everything is about to end or begin. Ethan's body was dragged deeper into the darkness. Cold, endless, suffocating. The hands wouldn't let go. They tightened around him, pulling, stretching, like they were trying to tear him apart. "Dad!" His scream echoed, but it felt distant. Mark Carter stood frozen for just a second. 1 second, the same mistake he made years ago, but this time, he moved. "Enough!" His voice exploded through the darkness. Everything stopped. The hands froze, the shadows stilled. The tall, twisted figure slowly turned toward him. "You speak now?" Mark stepped forward, no fear left in his eyes, only guilt, only regret. "That night, I heard them." His voice trembled, but he didn't stop. "I heard every knock, every scream." The air grew heavier. "I chose to stay inside." Silence. Ethan hung in the darkness, barely conscious. Mark's voice broke. "I let them die." The figure tilted its head, watching him, waiting. Mark took another step forward, but not today. Ethan forced his eyes open. "Dad, don't!" Mark looked at him, and for the first time, he smiled. A soft, peaceful smile. "I'm opening the door this time." The shadows shifted. The figure leaned closer. "What do you offer?" Mark didn't hesitate. "Take me." Ethan's eyes widened. "No!" "Let him go and take me instead." The room fell silent. Every shadow, every whisper, every presence waited. Then all the voices spoke together. "Will you suffer as they did?" Mark closed his eyes. "Yes." The darkness moved instantly. The hands released Ethan one by one, and then they turned, all of them, toward Mark. Ethan fell to the ground, gasping, "No! No!" But Mark didn't move. He stood there, still, accepting it. The shadows wrapped around him, pulled him in. His body twisted, disappearing into the void, but his face never showed fear, only relief. Then, everything went black. Morning. Ethan woke up outside the school, alone. Cold wind brushed past him. For a moment, he thought it was all a nightmare, but then he saw it. The ground near the entrance was marked, black, burned, like something had been dragged inside. "Dad?" No answer. People gathered around later. Police came. Neighbors whispered, "Mark Carter is gone." Ethan didn't speak. He just stared at the building. Something inside him felt empty. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly everything went back to normal. No more voices, no more knocking, no more shadows. People said, "It's over. The curse is gone." Ethan wanted to believe it. He really did. But deep down, something felt wrong, because sometimes, late at night, he could still hear it, very faint, a whisper, calling his name. One night, he sat in his room. The clock read 8:59 p.m. His heart started racing. Not again. 9 p.m. Silence. Nothing happened. Ethan exhaled slowly. It's over. Then, his phone lit up. The screen showed home. His hand trembled. The phone started ringing. Slowly, he picked it up. "Hello?" Silence. Then, a voice. "Ethan." His eyes filled with tears. "Dad?" "Open the door." Knock. 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 The sound came from downstairs. "Son, I'm back." Ethan stood up. His legs moved on their own. Step by step, he walked toward the door. His hand reached the handle. His father's last words echoed in his mind. "I'm opening the door this time." Ethan froze. Then he looked down. Under the door, black smoke slowly creeping in, forming fingers, reaching, waiting. Ethan's face changed. The fear faded, and something else replaced it. A smile, slow, unnatural. Click. The door opened. Outside, nothing, just darkness. But inside that darkness, eyes, dozens of them, watching, waiting. In Black Hollow, the knocking never really stops, because now it doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. And once you answer it, you become part of it.